This is the Platinum Podcast.
Aren, welcome to the Platinum Podcast, my friend.
Thank you, sir. Happy to be here.
I'm damn excited about this one.
I'm excited about your table. This is a great table.
I mean, is there anything you would like to do with this particular table? There's something that you've mentioned previously?
No.
Nothing. I mean, it's going to come up at some point in the podcast anyway. You might as well just dive straight in and address it here and now.
I think my mind back from my past would be like, this is a great table to do cocaine off of. It's just like, it's a smooth surface. It's beautiful. And it was inviting. It
was inviting. I mean, I come from a similar background, so I can totally understand that thought process. Luckily, we're in a completely different place now.
Yes.
Yeah, we're very responsible adults and entrepreneurs now, right?
I haven't done cocaine for 5 years, man.
I mean, that's a big thing. I think it's been, probably about the same for me as well. Yeah. How much better is your life since you stopped doing cocaine?
So much less crazy and sporadic, weird, self-loathing, waking up, my credit cards are having to buy a coffee and like, oh. Sorry about that.
It's always awkward when the numbers are all blocked up, right? It's even worse when you actually get that impulse to want to lick the card at 10 a.m.
Excuse me for a second. Don't judge me.
We're in a new world.
Yes.
New world. So tell me about this new world. Who is Aren now? Now that you're not licking cocaine off your bank cards at 10 a.m. in Starbucks.
I'm a happier man. Yeah, it's a huge transformation.
Yeah.
Now I relocated. I moved to Bali 5 years ago. Started my life completely over. I pushed full reset. It's a plug for my channel, by the way. Full reset. Everybody follow me.
Shameless. Do it. Get it in there.
For real though, I started over, and the life before was drugs, money, women, craziness, and now it's Bali business, really connecting with amazing people, helping people, doing a lot of charity work, and growing into a better human being.
I love that. I obviously know a little bit about your background. Resonates with me in a massive way. Let's start off with that. Let's talk about who you used to be, and so we can better understand the transition that you've made to be who you are now.
Absolutely. I mean, I used to be a drug dealer. And that's what I started off as in Canada. But before that, I was a kid who wanted acceptance. I wanted some. I didn't want to be bullied, And the kids in my area were either gangsters or you were a nobody. And as a young kid coming up, you just want to be a somebody, and that's why I got sucked into it. I grew up as a chubby kid. I had braces. I had glasses. I had asthma. Oh man, I had a high-pitched voice. I had a gap in my fucking teeth from the braces. It was just not cool. It was really not cool. And it was tough times to be that little fat boy. And when I started growing out of that in high school, it was all the kids around me that were doing it, that were getting the girls. Instead of being the fat friend anymore, they were selling drugs. And started off selling pot, graduated to the heavier things. And, 6-7 years later, I was meeting the Sinaloa cartel in Mexico, talking about shipments of cocaine. And things got scary.
Yeah, it sounds like it's taking a little bit of a dodgy turn by that point. I always find it funny, no matter where you start, it always seems to revolve around fucking chicks at some point when you're younger, right? It always seems to go there.
I think a lot of our motivations come around, how can we get girls? Like, fancy car, get girls. Big muscles, get girls. Nice clothes, get girls. I need money for what? Get girls. So it's like, it's a huge thing. And one big shift that came with me when I started over and came out here was, Bali's not really about how much money you got, but it's about the kind of character you have.
100%. I always compare Bali to Dubai with one major difference. It's like Dubai for networking in terms of the amazing people you can meet, but instead of like unconscious business people, it's full of multi-millionaire hippies.
Yep.
And you can be there's people walking around with no shoes on that are worth millions and millions, and they just live on a completely different planet.
Yeah.
And it's the planet I want to live on, right?
No, absolutely. I think that relationship with money is a massive thing for men to grow through, and that's been a huge healing part for me. I mean, bro, I was a dope boy. My whole life surrounded around money, and cash ruled everything around me, and it was massive. And when I decoupled that, when I got out of the game, I didn't want to make money for a full year. Like, I didn't consciously choose 1 year. I just had a scary relationship with money where it was like, it came in this dirty, needy, forceful, not bringing out the best part of me, And I needed to just chill for a while and do a bunch of yoga, do a bunch of meditation, soul searching, went to India, did a bunch of weird spiritual stuff that I'm sure you've been tapping into.
I've been digging in.
Yeah.
I've been digging in.
Yeah. I did a bunch of weird stuff that guys in my old neighborhood would have kicked my ass for.
Same. I'm with you. I'd love to talk about the kind of the habits and the transitions from that. Yeah. That's something that I can totally relate to. How long did it take you to start unraveling and unwiring all those unhealthy habits?
Oh man, I mean, it takes work, really. Like, it's not an easy thing just to swap that way. And I mean, the deeper your conditioning is, the more time and effort it's going to take to decouple that and to get just normal. I mean, not normal. There's no normal. I mean, just to get in a place where you're not coming from such a place of neediness and hungriness for validation, because that's what the money's coming from too, right? And if you can have a healthy relationship for money, sometimes it's not wanting to make money for a little bit and working on the stuff that's free and the stuff that's within you. And that took a while. I mean, it took me a couple of years of like real work. Like every month I was doing a different training. I was starving to grow.
Yeah.
I needed it so bad because, I mean, a lot of people just starting off in the game usually hit like some sort of rock bottom. And that's a really important place. And so I hit some really dirty, crazy, dark rock bottoms. And those were places that I needed. I valued them like gold. And then the work that it took to deal with that trauma, then unpack how I got there, and then understand that that's okay. And it was just a protection mechanism for me to not feel less than enough and be a bit more, and then come out here and do the work. I mean, man, I'm still doing the work. I'm still unpacking it all. It's never going to stop. So, it's not going to be like 2 years, everyone, you'll be good. It's like, no. You're going to be doing this work the rest of your life, but that's beauty in that. Like that's actually powerful because you'll know that it's never going to be a tick box done. You'll always be growing and learning out of that. But it took me a good year of not wanting to like build another business, not wanting to do anything. And I still had another business, but it was a low maintenance one, to get my head out of my ass, really to shift who I was. Because when I first got here, I brought a lot of that chaotic Aren energy from Vancouver, Canada, being a dope boy, and I was just a drug dealer in spiritual clothing for a while.
Shotting kratom. Matilda told me this the other day. She's like, you end up like selling all sorts of different herbs and stuff, and end up like inadvertently becoming like the local drug dealer for medicine. Yeah.
It's just how it works, right? There's transferable skills. That's a wonderful thing. The wonderful thing about coming from some place of chaos and maybe coming from a place that you were, possibly successful monetarily, but obviously spiritually poor and terribly unhappy, was that there is gold in wherever you're from. So whatever chaos you're in, there is something good out of that you can bring somewhere else. And a lot of people forget that. They're just like, I was a drug dealer, now I have to do something completely different. Or they were doing things that didn't make them proud, but you can look at the lessons in that there's something that you can use that for, because a lot of drug addicts are cunning people. They're intelligent. You
Sure.
do some really industrious things to get more drugs.
It's amazing what you're doing at 3 a.m. to get more drugs.
Genius.
I know.
Genius level stuff happens when you really need something. And what I did was I really needed to change. So I got kind of genius around shifting who I wanted to be, and really genius around being a better person. So my goals shifted. So it wasn't I needed to make more cash and sell more drugs and do more drugs. It was I need to be a better dude, because that guy wasn't going to make it out alive. Yeah. So I had a real burning in me that if I don't change, man, I'm going to die. Like I'm going to end up dead or in jail. And it was right there. It was so apparent. It was on my footstep, on the foot of the door. Like, if I didn't change, that was it for me. And that's a beautiful place. I'm so grateful that I hit a place where it was desperate, where it was like, if you don't get out now, like you're gonna go to jail.
Yeah.
And it was beautiful.
And what was that turning point?
There was a few knocking on all at once, but I'd say the one that really hurt the most was having a huge beef with my best friend. We grew up together. We were best friends since grade 2. So like in Canada, that's like 6 years old. Mm-hmm. And so we grew up together. We came up together, and I mean, him and I got in all sorts of trouble together. We were like, we were boys. He taught me how to drive while we were stealing his mom's car at 14 years old. And so he was the one person I thought just would never fuck me over. Mm-hmm. And he was going through it. He went through a really hard time. He had a hit out on his head. He left the city. He borrowed my truck while he was driving around with a hit on his head, and I didn't know it. So it was putting me in danger as well. He lied to me, and I tried to set him up so he'd be okay for a little while, and he took that money for a bit. And so I was in the hole a good 60 grand. And he was just like, sorry. And it escalated to a point where we were threatening each other with violence. And I was getting to a point where I was going to have to orchestrate something really serious to get that money back. And it broke my heart. It absolutely shattered me. And I saw that if I could be the type of person that would have to get to do something like this, I don't want to be this guy anymore. This isn't the person I really am. And sometimes it takes getting put into a position where you'd have to do something really serious to know what's inside your heart. And that was a big part that shifted me from the game. Was like, man, I'm not built for this. Like, I want to be somebody who loves people, and I want to be somebody who trusts people, and I want to live in a world where people love and trust me, and I'm not going to have to be scared for my life or threatening people that I grew up with, their lives. It was too much, man. And I was like, okay, that's it. I'm out. Exit strategy, deploy, exit strategy. And I had to think and create my own exit strategy on the fly. And it was the best thing and smartest thing I've ever done. And probably the most value I have to give to the world is that you can change. You can go from a really intense place to being successful in paradise. And it won't take you that long if you just get hungry about it.
I love that. I absolutely love that. I think it always comes from this strange place of misaligned values. Everyone that gets into it, like you say, it's because of the money. They're seeking a feeling. They're looking for that validation. And then when something goes horrifically wrong, it's only when you suffer extreme pain that you start to really question those values and go, oh, what is actually important to me? And it's so difficult. It's so difficult to get clarity on that while you're in amongst it. So when you were going through that process, what were the thoughts like? What did you just suddenly land on it and go, okay, I have to change now? Or did things slowly just start to creep in and make sense to you?
There was a lot of moments that were like hitting home for me that this is not okay. You know, it's often not, or it wasn't for me, sorry. It wasn't like a defining 1 second, but there was many things happening. And often when like a change is going to come in your life, you're getting many red blinking lights going at once. Like, oh shit, the control room of your life is like deet, deet, deet. And you're like, yeah. And you kind of like snooze that. And then deet, deet, deet. And you're like, no, I'll be all right for a little while. But when you see all these other signs and you pay attention to the signs in your life and you're like, if I don't change now, something very bad is going to happen soon. And that's the feeling I had for me was, I don't think I can make it this much longer. In the level of chaos was increasing. And I needed to quiet down that noise. And I thought it was the environment around me, but actually it was the environment inside of me that was creating so much chaos because I was doing shit for the wrong reasons. And that was the big thing. Money is super important. You know, they say it makes the world go around, but like, how are we going to take care of our family? You know, how are we going to take care of ourselves? You know, everyone wants to make money, and that's super important. We need purpose. And the purpose that I brought behind making money then was ego. I wanted a flashy Benz. I wanted a hot girlfriend. I wanted everything in Louis Vuitton. I wanted to be a millionaire, and I wanted multiple properties and this and that. And some of those things I still want. That's great. But what I was doing it for was to fill a hole inside of me.
Yeah.
And that's when you'll never be happy. I started making killer money. Then my friend was making more. And I was like, oh, I had a Benz. He had a Bentley. Oh. And it was like nothing would fill that hole unless you actually do things for the right reason and your heart's in the right place. And so a lot of the healing work I had to do out here was, why am I doing stuff? What's the reason? And am I doing it to fill a void in myself? Because nothing is going to fill that void in you other than yourself and your own self-love.
Yeah, you're very much in a place where you're compromising your character and your integrity, which at the time you're not really that bothered about. I know I wasn't. I was just like, yeah, I'm just doing it. It's fine. I'm making money because that's the real value. This is the real goal. And it's only when things started to go really, really wrong for me that I was looking at it and going, oh, I've compromised who I actually really want to be long term. And there is no exchange there. That's not the way around. And because you get so focused on the external environment, right? So
totally. I got a little mini story about the cartel with that one.
Get it? I love that. I like that you just jump in with, I've got a little story about the cartel. I love that that's just smoothly slid across this beautiful black table.
We were in Cabo, probably 2012 or 2013. And I met a family that was part of the Sinaloa cartel. And it was like uncles, dads, little brothers, and you know, like a proper Mexican family. I could speak a little bit of Spanish and my boys couldn't. So I could like joke around with them a little bit. So I got cozy with one of the guys and I was like, this is so cool. Like this is the next level of the game that I wanted to get in. I'm getting suppliers now. I'm getting to a level of like, oh, I'm going to shoot up and be somebody that is not just like a mid-level dude anymore. Yeah, all right. And he showed me his phone as we're sipping tequila and doing blow, and he's like, check this out. I just bought all this weekend. And he's showing me people, like women, like prostitutes from Colombia. And I was like, whoa, like that's quite heavy that you've purchased
humans.
You've purchased humans, like, and I'm trying to be like, you know, and it's like, and they're beautiful. They're young, like, you know, 19, 20-year-olds. Oh yeah, look. And then he flip. And then it was like 10 machine guns, just a stockpile of machine guns. He's like, yeah, cool. And I'm like, like, great, you know, and he's flipping. And I just remember that, like, that moment that it stirred in me that I was like, yo, that's kind of fucked up. like that didn't feel good for me, and I had to kind of mask and be like, yeah, good job, like estoy bueno, you know. And I was like,
yeah, great. Don't shoot me or buy or sell me.
yeah,
please. That'd be great.
I'd like to be a sovereign human with no bullet holes in me. And that right there, it started showing me that, hey man, there's not too much degrees of separation from selling pot to human trafficking. And I always was like, no, I never steal. I never robbed anybody. I made sure that I kept my morals and ethics, and thank God that's why I was able to make it out and be here. But like, I was like, no, I'm not part of that. But then when you see like down the chain of things where you're getting the stuff, there is that level of violence. There is that level of like carnage and evil. And the karma attached to that is dark. And I started feeling, well, why am I always depressed? You know, obviously it's the drugs. Obviously I'm not in purpose, but I could feel I'm affecting the world around me in a negative way. And there is a karmic impact. And as soon as I switched that, and when I moved out here, I could have still ran things from here. It would have been fine. You know, I could have kept it going, and I just decided, no, like I want zero connection to making money in ways that wouldn't make my dad proud. And I don't want to make ways that wouldn't make myself proud anymore. I don't want to deal with any of this anymore. And as soon as I said no to not doing something that didn't make my heart happy, I became way happier. And I started having these moments while I was driving around in Ubud on my little scooter. I got rid of the Mercedes. I'm on this little tiny scooter, driving through the rice paddies, watching the sunrise, and almost bursting into tears, crying. And nothing made me feel like that. Not all the coke, not all the women, not all the fast cars. Nothing made me feel like watching a sunrise at 6:30 a.m. on my scooter. That was making me burst into like almost tears of happiness. And I don't remember ever feeling that way before in my entire life. And it was because I was connected to myself. And I did something. I showed up for me. Like actually me, and not for Louis Vuitton. Whoever the fuck that is.
I love that transition. We're kind of like loosely touching on energetics now at this point, you know, just the feel of the things that you're doing. And it's monumental. What were the major changes that you had to actively apply to your life when transitioning out of that world? What were the things that you wanted to work on personally to slowly become the person that you are now?
Yeah, man, those are important questions. And it came in stages for me. And this is kind of what I was outlining in where I want to help people. But it was coming into like, step one is simplify your life. Like you need to chill. And my business partner, Dave, you'll have him on here later. He's a big fan of this as well. But it's like simplification is beautiful. And I had a lot of noise in my life that was making things complicated. And I started having just to cut out what wasn't essential for me to actually be happier, truly happy. But I guess before that is clarity. And I really had to get clear on who I wanted to be. So I realized that I didn't like the guy that I became in Canada. There was too much attachment to what people thought of me, what I had. And when I realized when I took a couple big losses, those people weren't around and didn't have that clout, you know? And so if you're not Mr. Barstar, who are you? And so I had to get clear on, well, who am I? And I took some time and I traveled by myself. And I went to Bali alone the first time. And I got a chance to get out of the neighborhood I was in and see that I could be anybody I wanted to be. And I could actually ask myself who I wanted to be. And what really landed home with me was I was always happy when I was doing something good. I felt like a good boy, you know, and I hadn't felt like a good boy for a long time. And when I actually connected to my heart and I was actually able to do something that was positive and making a positive impact in the world around me, I was like, I want to be that guy. Like that guy feels good. That feels like so much better than being the cool guy and being the guy that, you know, people respect for the wrong reasons. And so that clarity was huge. So there was clarity, simplification, and learning. And so I had to just really get hungry for that growth. As I mentioned before, it's like, you gotta get hungry to change. And hopefully you have a motivation that's strong enough, like debt or jail. Those are pretty strong motivations, right? Yeah, pretty strong motivations. But if you have lesser motivations, as long as you're passionate about them, and I was really passionate about changing because I didn't want to feel like a failure. I didn't want to be the washed up drug dealer that lived in his parents' basement. I didn't want to be the guy who then had to go work at, you know, McDonald's or something, which was my first job when I was 14. I wasn't going back to that, man.
That was one of my biggest motivators. When I was involved, I ended up getting chronically depressed, decided to go and do a psychology degree. And one of the main reasons for that was I thought, if all this goes wrong and I get caught and everything goes to shit, I've got nothing. I'm qualified to work in McDonald's right now. I was like, how can I go from earning really good money to working in fucking McDonald's? I was like, that's not my reality, you know?
Fear is a great motivator.
Oh, I was terrified of wearing that fucking McDonald's hat, man. That would have broken me.
Yeah, exactly. And then the other part of it was I weighed that up. you know, and it might not have been McDonald's. I probably would have wanted to go into construction, property development. I would have figured it out, but there wasn't good chances that I'd stay clean. You know, that I would stay if the money was too easy. You know, and the clout was too easy. The fake respect I was getting was too easy. So there wasn't good chances there, and I had to then also weigh up what's the worst that could happen if I took a chance. Because the chance, and I was very risk averse. I wasn't scared about taking the chance, but I had to weigh up, like, go and do it. Like, okay, I got clear on who I wanted to be then. I wanted to be somebody who made an impact. I wanted to live in paradise. I wanted to get out of the neighborhood I was from, and I wanted to build businesses. And I was like, okay, I want to go do that, guy. And I'm ready to drop everything. So I was ready to take the risk. I had enough motivation in me to, like, I need to leave. And then there's that cusp that a lot of people don't pull the trigger on it, no pun intended, but to move, to go and do it, to go and take the risk and start something completely new. That's like an edge that so many people get stuck on, and they get stayed, and maybe things aren't bad enough for them to actually make that pull, which is a horrible place to be. Is awful. Not bad enough. You're not living your dreams, but it's not bad enough. That's the worst place to be. Welcome a rock bottom, because then you'll actually change. But I waited up and I was like, okay, I could move to Bali. I could sell everything I had. I can get out. I can say goodbye to Vancouver Aren, who's worked, 8 years in the game to build something. Okay, no, I can leave that. Start over in Bali. Perhaps I'll fail. Fuck, what's gonna happen if I fail? What is gonna happen if I move out here? I got enough money for maybe a couple years of splashing out and trying things and building a business. If all that fails, what then? And I thought about that. I was like, well, I'd end up in my parents' basement. I'd be living in my parents' basement. I'd be ashamed of myself. That's okay. And I'd have to figure things out back here. And I was like, well, that's not that bad. I could figure that out. That's not that bad. At least I gave it a shot. It's not the worst that could happen. I'd still have a roof over my head. I still have my drive or intellect. I could make something happen. I built all this in Canada. I could figure it out. I had faith in myself. That if I failed, I'd figure it out. So then the next step was, what's the best that could happen? And I come out to Bali, and what if I hit it big? What if in a couple years I'm a mogul? What if I meet the right people and I get the right people around me and I build something amazing? And I was like, that sounds dope. That sounds awesome. And I got excited about that idea, and I got, I'm gonna make that happen. And even if I don't become a mogul out there, at least I'll be making it happen somewhere beautiful, and I'll be proud of myself, because changing and pushing full reset on your life is going to be the hardest thing you'll ever do, but it's also the most rewarding. I was like, if I can make that happen, if I can actually go and start over somewhere else, I'll be so proud of myself. That'll be the biggest act of self-love that I've ever committed with, on my own. And I was like, yeah, I'm going to put that energy into that. That was enough motivation for me just to be like, I'm doing this. And it turned out to be the best decision I've ever made.
You touched on so many amazing points on there. You touched on something I talk a lot about, which is the dangers of mediocrity. It's not bad enough to make you do anything, but it's not good enough that you're actually happy. And that's the one that keeps you frozen in time, not moving, not going anywhere. And that's the most devastating place to be, where so many people end up. And what you said there is just perfect. You just have to pull the trigger. And the thing that stands in that way is people always imagine all the worst case scenarios. They can imagine dying on a motorbike, nothing working out, they run out of money, but they can't even begin to imagine all the magical things that can go right. You can never even begin to guess the types of people that you're going to bump into, which is where you are now, because things have gone really well. Obviously life's good. I see a happy man sat in front of me right now who's not sniffing cocaine off this table. Really happy about that. Really happy about that. It'd bring back some bad memories for me. So how did it look so you've moved to Bali and things started to fall into place for you? Yeah. Tell me about that transition.
Oh man, that was a beautiful time. It didn't come easy. Obviously, when I made it out here, it wasn't like magic fairyland. I mean, it was a bit of like a magic fairyland, but it wasn't easy. I had to put in the work, right? But I knew I was taking steps in the right direction, and that felt so good. Like that was something that kept me going, because I knew I had purpose and a path that I was going somewhere, and that felt really, really amazing. So the first few months, I was settling, trying to figure out me. I started doing things that weren't involved in business. I just started doing yoga, and I was like, I'll figure it out. I started meditating. I was like, good, this will help. I'll figure it out. I started taking classes on communication. I started taking like authentic relating courses and classes. I started studying all sorts of things that were not related to money, but they were related to all the areas I felt I was deficient in. Mm-hmm. Because a lot of us can just hustle and hustle and hustle, but then we're emotionally ridiculous. You know what I'm saying? We're fighting over nothing. We can't hold down a relationship. We get snap trigger anger. All that counts in business. You think it doesn't. All you can do is hustle. But those are the type of people that are unhappy with money. Because I was one of them. I know it. You know, I could have all this cash, but I was consistently unhappy because I didn't know how to manage my emotions. And that was huge. I mean, it's something I'm still working on. It's always going to be a thing, unpacking the triggers of why. But that's what I started doing just for that time. So that self growth tip is so important. Work on business, but don't forget to work on yourself. And so that's what I did for the first little while. I had a bed and breakfast business. That was the first business I had when I came out here. It was an Airbnb, easy, low maintenance. It made money. I became a super host. So I was like, cool, I could do that. But 6 months in, I realized I didn't give a fuck about beds or breakfasts. I was like, this is stupid. People coming in, there's a gecko in my room. And I'm like, bitch, it's Bali. Like,
I don't give a fuck.
Fuck are you talking about? You know, don't you know I'm gangster? I got 1 star on that one. No, I'm just playing. No, it wasn't my passion, you know. It wasn't purpose for me. And so it wasn't juicy. I was just like kind of like, man, I made it all the way out of the game to become like a hotel, you know,
to change sheets.
Yeah, right. No, I wasn't resonating with it, but I needed that time because it was such a low maintenance business for me to study and learn and grow. So I'm super grateful for the years of Villa Mantra.
You sound really grateful.
Fuck that place. But no, it was huge because I was able to grow from there. And a lot of people think that, okay, example, I thought I was going to come to Bali, open up that 1 bed and breakfast. It was going to turn into 2 bed and breakfast. Then I was going to start buying properties, start developing properties, and start growing from there on. And I was like, yeah, that's the plan. When I came out here, I started the bed and breakfast. I wasn't super enthused about it. It took a lot of startup capital to get it up and running, like to lease out the place. And so it was like, the ROI was okay. It wasn't what I was thinking, but I also wasn't passionate about it. But what it got me there was got me in the game, and then I met amazing people. So I made all these friends that were in the tattoo game. I started getting lots of tattoos out here, obviously. And the boys started tattooing in the dining room of the bed and breakfast. And soon I became the tattoo party guy. I'd go to all the events, I'd meet people. They'd be coming and doing tattoos in the dining room at my bed and breakfast. And that started making more money than the bed and breakfast. And I was like, on to something here. Because I don't tattoo. My art looks horrible. I'm not a tattoo artist. Everyone thinks I am. I'm not a tattoo artist. But I knew people. And that's one thing, like we were talking about earlier, transferable skills coming from one area to another is I know people. Like I make friends. I can see where people, what they're good at, and I can help them do it better. So I was like, I could do that. I was always a guy who could know how to get you things. So you wanted a tattoo? I know a guy. And I was using those skills from my past into something positive that I loved. I love tattoos. I was passionate about it. I love art. So once I started clicking into that idea, hey, maybe I can open up a tattoo shop. You know, that sounds fun. That sounds like a fun business to do, you know? But I wasn't quite sure about it. I didn't know how to do it. So I went to India. I went to a meditation retreat. This is near when the lease of that villa was ending. And I went to a meditation retreat, which was super hard. It was my first meditation retreat ever. It was called Tushita in the Himalayas in Dharamshala. And it was like day 5 or 6, and I'm still fighting not masturbating. It's one of the rules. And
sorry, you just kind of threw that one in there out of the blue. I wasn't playing with my dick that much, you know. It's just
that's probably helped me have this idea. So I was, instead of touching myself, I was tapping into myself.
It's amazing what you can achieve when you're not waking yourself up all day, right?
It's great, yeah. And I'm in this big Dhamma hall, 108 people sitting in this Buddhist meditation hall, and they, you know, I had this idea that if I opened up a tattoo shop that was gonna help the community, that had a karmic impact to it, it's gonna do well. And it was just like a direct download that I was deep in a meditation retreat, and that was it. It was just like, go do that. That's an idea. Make that idea happen. And that idea just felt good. And like we're talking about the feelings earlier, that one just felt good. As soon as I thought it, it was a yes. And I don't remember feeling yeses like that. Like that was just a yes. And you know, I'd be too cloudy the whole time. That was the one that I needed to go and do. So as I was supposed to be meditating, I was writing the business plan. I'll do this. I'll find a place. As I was flying back to Bali, I was like, I'm gonna make this happen. As soon as I got back, I got to work. I had a good idea. I was passionate about it. I was like, I need a social initiative to give back to. I need to find a place. I need to get more tattoo artists, and that's what I need to do. Within 3 months, I opened doors to the place. Within 3 months after that, we were the busiest tattoo shop in all of Bali. In all of Ubud. And I was like, whoa, that idea hit. We found a whole school for mentally disabled Balinese children. And it was like, yeah, we've been partnered with them for 4 years now since. So that one little baby idea was my stepping stone into all these other things happening. That little tiny shop about the size of this villa, smaller than this one, it was gold. It was crazy profitable. After 6 months, I made back my full 3-year lease investment. I had to pay up front, plus all the renovation costs and equipment costs, and I was in the positives. And I was like, yo, that was something like that hit. And to have a success over something I'm passionate about, man, I never felt so good making money.
I love those points that how you've kind of described that is really beautiful, because what you've described there is going off into the unknown and something just kind of coming together. You never could have imagined that you'd be doing tattoos like in this Airbnb, right? Never would have happened. Then creating that space, which is the next key part, I think. You chuck yourself into the unknown and then you've gone to a meditation retreat. People always underestimate the importance of that gap between stimulus and response. And that's what meditation provides you, right? It gives you that space in between to think about, what is this input that I'm getting and what do I want to do? I'm going to synthesize this information and what am I going to turn it into? And then you've done exactly that, and all of a sudden you go back and you're able to turn it to magic, essentially.
Yeah, man, exactly. That's like my new hack now before any business like that I'm going to seriously go into, is I go do a meditation retreat before.
Yeah,
it's huge. And if a meditation retreat's a bit out of reach for people, just go somewhere alone for a little while. Go out in the woods, be in nature. But that time to contemplate and to sort out and turn down the noise on the rest of your life, and then to actually just sit with yourself and see what do you really want and what are you really feeling, is gold. And I never did that in the past. I couldn't sit with myself. Like, there's no way. I was high.
It's hard when you're fucked up all the time.
Yeah, it's really difficult, right?
Yeah.
And so turning down the noise in your life and getting a chance to tap into yourself is gold.
Yeah.
You're gonna get great ideas, and then the next thing is take a chance. Just go and do it. Yeah, take a chance. The worst that could happen is you're gonna get a bunch of knowledge out of it, and maybe you'll waste a bit of time, but it's not time wasted because you're learning, and then you can try again and you'll make it work.
Yeah. 100%. You talked also about the transferable job skills that you got from the drug game, right?
Yeah.
There's quite a few, in my opinion. It massively helps you in business.
Totally.
Huge, because you can go into any meeting and you know that the worst case scenario is you're not going to get fucked up over it.
Yeah.
They don't like me. They don't want to do business. Never mind, right?
Yeah.
What other kind of skills do you think that you took from that?
I think it was being a real people person. Not just a people pleaser, but you're a people person where you can gauge people.
Yeah.
And you can kind of tell if you trust someone right away or not. You have this intuition around people. You a cop, bro? No, you're not. We're friends. Okay, good. But not just that. But I mean, you're able to read the temperature of a room quite a bit easier. Mm-hmm. And so intuition was a huge one for me. Logistics.
Hey, timings are very important.
Timing's important.
Very important.
People management.
Yeah.
Managing people that are at high risk, or people that are quite unreliable or unpredictable. And that was really important in business too, because I see patterns in people. And I know how to deal with people that were a bit sporadic. And luckily, in the non-drug dealing world, people are way more chill, so it was okay. Yeah, for the most part.
Generally.
Yeah, that was a big one there. Not being risk averse. That was a big one, as I mentioned earlier too. It's just you'll take risks. What's the worst that could happen? It's I'll get beat up, man. Not so bad. I'll live. There was ways. So it's I'll start a business. What's the worst that could happen? Oh, it'll fail. It's okay. I'll try a different thing. And so it was big to be, not being afraid of taking risks. Yeah, that was a big one. Other than that, I would say there was still that grind mentality. Because in the game, when you're hustling, all you do is focus on moving forward, making money, which was not placed in the best way. But say when you're in business and you're just focused on movement though and progress, you channel it into a healthier space. Okay, I want to just be better than yesterday. So instead of just I need to make more money, it's no, I just need to generally improve. That was a big one. Just to channel that hustler grinding energy into self-improvement. That was huge for me.
Yeah. I'd love to talk about what you're investing your energies into now, because I know you're doing some amazing things all over Bali, man. You're having a hugely positive impact. People need to know some of the things that you're doing right now, brother.
Thanks, bro. I appreciate that. I mean, the first shop was Conscious Arts Tattoo Shop, where you got your beautiful rib piece done at.
I've got to give a shout out. I've got some serious artwork on my ribs. It fucking hurt. I didn't enjoy it. It was a real bad time. I'm not going to tell you can have time of your life, but good, solid work, man. Looking good.
And that's a great analogy for anytime you want some beauty in your life, you might have to pay for it with some pain.
And blood.
Yeah. Hopefully not too much.
Yeah.
But everyone listening, if you want to make a big change, prepare for it to hurt and welcome the hurt, because there's beauty on the other side.
Yeah.
So don't shy away from the pain.
Yeah.
Then I opened up Karma House. I opened up Karma House Bali after that, based off the success of Conscious Arts. It's a yoga studio, tattoo shop, and a cafe. And we also do tons of charity work. And so those businesses, I mean, leaving the game, I wanted to make sure everything I do had a good impact on the world. It's like, I need to make sure that, hey man, I repay some of that luck and karma and that got me out alive. It's like, hey, I'm going to just do good now. I promise. And I made that promise to myself and the universe. And things have been working out. So Karma House was the next one that's in Ubud as well. And then after that, I got together, and you're going to meet the other YogiLab boys. And we opened YogiLab. We started YogiLab, an online company that's going to give spiritual practices that help entrepreneurs and everyone else have power. So it's, power to the impoverished, power to everybody who needs it. And it's the practices that help me level out, that help me gain that sense of self and start actually investing in myself rather than Louis Vuitton. It was important, right? So we put out courses and classes, meditation, breath work, yoga, personal development, high performance retreats. Like, we're putting out everything that's going to help incubate entrepreneurs and get them stable. So, and not just stable, generate power. And that was something I'm super excited about, because we're giving out free online Vipassanas for the world right now. Online meditation retreats for the entire world to practice for free.
Wow.
Yeah, we got tons of people joining every single month, about 15,000 applicants every month, and growing. We've only been doing it for a few months now. And that's like our impact, our legacy to the world, to like, hey, we're here to help. 2020 sucked. And so if we can help everyone be a bit more centered in themselves, and this is what helped us build businesses, this is our impact that we're able to have. So it's a big impact for us.
That's so powerful. That massively resonates with everybody at Platinum University as well. Everyone's trying to make that change. Everyone's in a place where they're not content. They've seen, especially with Corona, it's fast tracked where the world's going. That it's landed in everyone's lap. They've suddenly realized, shit, this isn't the way to be. There's a different way about it. And everybody always looks externally. Everyone always looks to their environment. Oh, just earn a little bit more money and it will be okay. Oh, just move to this new house and then everything will be okay. And we always put these goals in the distance that we think are going to change everything. But the irony is, the solution is actually so much simpler than that. It's actually just go inwards and work out what's going on in your own brain and in your own body. And this is the thing that gets put off so much. So I love what you guys are doing, because you're making it very real. You're making it very engaging, where they can just connect with this and take that first step, which is then going to change the course of their lives. So how does it look when someone signs up to YogiLab? I'd love people to know where they can find this, how they can get involved, because I think it's so important.
Yeah, thank you, bro. I really appreciate that. www.yogilab.com. You can follow us at _yogi_lab on Instagram, and the free Vipassanas are vipassanaonline.com. And so you can sign up every month, 11th to 22nd. We're doing a free online meditation course taught by Dave. You'll see Meditation Dave later, and he crushes it. He's the best meditation teacher I've ever experienced. It's just given to us in a way we can understand. And it's an ancient practice, but given in a contemporary, modern, and applicable way that guys like us could handle. Like, it's like, a lot of when I went and studied Buddhism in India, a lot of it was over my head. Like, to be honest, I was like, yo, I'm too thug for this. I couldn't understand a lot of the things. They were ancient scriptures, and it was hard for me to apply that in my life today. I needed a translation, and this is that translation from someone who came from a rough area, Dave and I included, and then made something out of ourselves, and then we're able to use this ancient power into it. So it's not the fluffiness, it's spirituality without the bullshit. It's just real, what's going to help.
Yeah.
And that's what I wanted. I wanted to sort through things, and just what helped for me, because I tried a lot of stuff changing, a lot of weird stuff. This is stuff that works.
Yeah. I think you're in a very powerful position where you're able to bridge that gap. People that are in the drug game, that are living a normal kind of, so to speak, a normal life, a lot of these things, these woo-woo concepts, this ancient wisdom, it always seems so ridiculous, so far away and like undigestible. But you're in that position where you've kind of come from that world, and this is what saved you. This is what helped you. Yeah. What would you say is the single most important bit of advice you could give to somebody who's maybe in the drug game, living a life that they hate, or maybe just getting fucked up with off tables like this, sniffing coke every weekend, to then make that transition to then moving to a kind of more fulfilling life?
Ooh, it's a deep question, man. That's a deep question. I think it might be a bit of a series of questions that I'd ask them.
Yeah.
And the first one would be, are you fulfilled? Because a lot of us do a lot of things and we're filling our noses, but we're not fulfilled.
Yeah.
And it's like, is what you're doing really making you happy? Because are you just doing it because it's a thing to do? Or are you just doing it because it's what, rappers do on on music videos, but is it really filling your cup? And that you got to get clear on your why first. Like, is what you're doing really going to make your heart sing? And, forget about if it's making your parents proud. Is it making you proud? Are you happy with what you're doing? And if it's a no, you got lots of time to change it. Just change it ASAP. You might not actually have that much time to change it. So go and make moves and do things as fast as you can that will get you in a place of feeling like your cup's full, like you're fulfilled, like you're content, and that'll bring you to a place of stability instead of chaos. And that's a big one, is just get hungry to change. And so that would be like the biggest thing for me, is the why. Why are you doing things? And is the why the right why? Get clear.
Yeah. You're putting together a course at the moment, right? Yeah. This is probably the best course I've ever heard of. Like, as soon as I heard this, I was like, this is the shit. So just a heads up, a lot of my friends that probably listen to this right now, you need this course. This is gonna fucking save your life, trust me. So tell people a little bit about what you're putting together right now.
I love this, man. So it's gonna be the full reset coaching course. It's gonna be helping people go from chaos, drug addiction, drug dealing, organized crime. I got love for the strippers too.
Who hasn't? Who hasn't?
It's for everybody though. It's for anybody who wants to make a real change in their lives. And especially right now, more than ever, people want to get out and do something different. So it's gonna help you, the fundamental steps of restarting your life, and the higher aim. I'd love to help people leave their hometown, their situation. They can relocate and start businesses in Bali. So I want to help people start over, coach them every step of the way, and get them to start legitimate businesses in paradise. Yeah. And I think I could save a lot of lives doing that.
I 100% believe that, man. I'm fully behind you on this one. I'd love to help you in any which way that I can.
Appreciate that.
And something else that I'm aware that you're doing right now, you're helping out a lot in the Balinese community. Please tell people what you're doing there, because for me, one thing, when I left the UK, one thing I knew I needed to work on was my empathy and my conscientiousness. These are things that were dead and buried in me. They have no place in the game that you're involved in, right? And there was something that I had to really reignite inside myself. It's something I had to practice to kind of reconnect with. Yeah. So what you're doing right now resonates with me in a massive way, and I'd love for other people to understand.
I'm happy to. Yes, service is super important in transformation. It really is. If you want to receive from the universe, be prepared to give. And that was something that was super important and very apparent to me. As soon as I switched that light, took that switch that I want to be someone who gives, and I'm just going to be of service, and I'm going to find ways to give. I really noticed tangible things change in my life, internally and externally, and it was beautiful. It makes a big difference. So everyone that's stuck at home in a rut, find a way to volunteer in your area, and you'll notice things will start shifting for you. If you can selflessly give, things will change in your life. It's massive. It's internal, external. It's huge, right? Karma will repay you. And so what I did out here is I started helping the island, because this island saved my life. It took me in, and I was able to start over out here, and things flourished for me. And Bali is a Hindu island. They believe in karma deeply. It's a deeply spiritual island. The spiritual energy is thick out here. If you put things out into the universe here, they will come. Sometimes bad, sometimes good. You can manifest a lot out in this area, right? So I just started making my offering back to the land of offerings and started giving, and things changed. It was beautiful. I learned the language, which was one of the most satisfying and rewarding things I've ever done. So I could come and connect to the people and just make a difference with them. And now I got local friends everywhere. And I still got that little validation thing. When I drive around, people say hi to me, like locals say what's up. Mm-hmm. And that means everything to me. It's so sweet. So when making an impact in your area and people are like, oh shit, oh, there's Aren, like, yeah, he's a good dude. Rather than being Scarface where everyone's, say hello to the bad guy. It's not that look anymore. Now it's like people are happy to see you, and people congratulate, people feel connected to you. Giving is selfish too, because it gives you so much. It really changed my life. Like, it made me so much happier. It made me feel like, hey, I am connected to my heart. I am a good dude. I can make a difference. It built my confidence up. So I didn't just feel like some scumbag. I was actually like, hey, I can be a good guy. And this is the quickest way to get there, is do some good shit.
Absolutely love that, man. I think people need to know exactly where they can find you. I'm following your journey right now. I'm really enjoying it. I'm loving the transformation you're going through, and the transformations that you're going to help other people go through. Where can people find you right now?
Definitely on my Instagram. That's ink_pray_love, ink pray love. Shout out to Julia Roberts, Eat, Pray, Love, saved my life. Side story.
Hang on, right. Okay, I'm going to have to stop you there. We're going to have to get into that. And then I want you to finish up on your famous airport story as well.
Oh, shit. You want to go to the airport story?
I'm having the airport story.
Oh, wow.
I know we've got all serious and that. We've had a really
Okay.
nice conversation about being an
Okay.
entrepreneur and changing your life.
Okay.
But you can touch on
Oh,
the
wow.
Eat, Pray, Love story
Okay.
and then the airport one.
Oh God. Okay. So it was 2015, maybe 2014, sorry. And I was a serious drug addict. I was
The best start to any story.
yeah, serious drug addict. I was dealing lots and lots and lots of drugs and doing lots and lots and lots of drugs. I was living a life of excess, and I knew I needed to change because like I was probably doing about $15,000 worth of drugs in my nose every month, Oxycontins and cocaine. It was hectic. Meanwhile, running a nationwide network and my own property development business and doing all these things. I was a hyper productive, functioning addict. But it was like I was seeing a psychiatrist during that time because I was like, why am I so unhappy? I'm like, consistently high and low and high and low. It's like, of course you're unhappy, motherfucker.
You're fucked. That's
fucked.
why.
What are you doing? So I needed to see. I saw some help, and I saw a psychiatrist or a psychologist that was kind of hippie, and he said you should try this stuff called iboga. It's like an African plant root from the Gabon region. It's kind of like ayahuasca except horrible. It's so hard. It's not a fun like, hey, let's all do iboga. It's like no. This is like your stern father hanging over you, telling you how much of a fuck up you are over and over and over again for 8 hours. And if you move, you'll throw up.
Sold. Sign me up.
Sounds like a good time,
Yeah.
right? Holy shit, it was hard. But it showed me my entire life before my eyes. And I saw all the decisions I made to become who I was and how I was really just trying to fill a gap inside of myself. And I was like, whoa, I need to change. I cannot be this guy anymore. And it was a really difficult trip for me because I thought maybe I could just stop doing drugs and still sell them. No, I could not be that person anymore. I had to shift. So I did it for a week straight and like little doses to get you used to the medicine, and then flood doses, which are like Jesus, super not fun. And when you're laying there traumatized the next morning from in a blanket shivering, these guys that were helping me administer it, they were like, "You can watch Netflix." I was like, "Really?" They're like, yeah. Watch happy movies. Don't watch anything that'll upset you. Don't watch anything scary or violent or whatever. Keep it light because it'll come up in your journey later. And I'm like, okay.
I've got this mental picture of you just sat there like shivering, watching cartoons, going, everything's going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay.
Very, very accurate.
Yeah.
It was hard, man. So I watched pretty much every happy thing on Netflix possible because you're there for a week and you journey at nighttime. So daytime, just binge watching stuff. The last thing that was on there, I was like, Eat, Pray, Love. And I was like, fuck it, go on then. And I turn on Eat, Pray, Love, and I get to the scene where she's in this Ubud market, and I was just like, where is that? What is that? What are they doing? The offerings, like what was happening here? And it was just a response in me that it was like, I need to go there. Like whatever that is, I need that in my life. I want to fall in love with a Brazilian guy.
Did that happen?
No, just kidding.
Oh, okay.
No, I didn't experiment that far. But I came out to I needed to go to Bali. Like that place had something for me. It had some sort of spirituality in the air that was calling me. It had some sort of connection and ceremony and essence that Vancouver didn't have. Like not my world, definitely not my world. I needed that. I needed a taste of that. So it was actually my birthday, bro. I was turning 25 in a not rehabilitation center, but I was doing iboga to get off drugs. It was really sad. And I was like, I'm going to go to Bali. And so I Googled flights to Bali. And I was like, wait, where is Bali? Tap. Bali's in Indonesia. I was like, Indonesia, hey? Where's Indonesia? Tap. And I was like, son of a bitch, that's where Indonesia was? I swear it was like closer to Japan or something. All right, fair enough. So I fly to Bali 2 days later by myself in a Louis Vuitton shirt. Like still a drug dealer. I rock up at Yoga Barn, which is like a famous yoga center, like completely out of my element. I had diamond earrings, I had a man purse, I rock up like, yo, yoga, right? Yeah, this is gonna help. And I was just a complete douchebag. And it changed my life. Coming out here showed me I had a glimpse of I could be someone new, I could be somebody else, and I could make it and be a new man. So I did a yoga teacher training. And just to kill the time, also to not relapse, to be in that really tough spot when you're shifting and you're trying to make a big shift and doing something new. You got to be busy. You know, you can't just shift and float around because there's lots of parties. You'll find a way, You know, any addict out there, you'll find a way. We're resourceful. So I got resourceful in growing, and you'll find a way to learn. And so that'll merge into the airport story now.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I haven't actually heard this story.
Oh, man.
I've just been told about it. I know it needs to be heard. The masses need to know about this ridiculous one.
Fucking hell, man. So that coming to Bali after Iboga was changed my life. I did this yoga teacher training, and it was massive for me. I didn't pass the yoga teacher training because I was still a jackass, and the teacher was a sweetheart, and she was just like, she was in integrity, and she said, I can't give my name on your plaque, on your yoga certificate because you're a dickhead. Like, when she goes, when are you ever going to take anything serious in your entire life? You could be so great. When are you going to show up for yourself? And it hit me deep. I was just like, oh. And I was like, I don't go fuck. Trying to suck it up, like still be hard, but really she hit me to the core. And as I was flying back to Vancouver, tail in between my legs, I knew I needed to get out. I just knew, I was like, I'm not going to survive. And I had so much fear and anxiety in me flying back to Canada. Like, if I don't get back here in safe Bali, in Ubud, yoga green juice land, I'm back in cocaine machine gun land. And I don't like that land anymore. I want change. And I had a real estate development project that wasn't going very well. I had to redo the renovation. I had to get back into the game to pay for the renovations. I was doing the rental myself at that point to save money. So I was covered in drywall while managing a nationwide drug network. I was doing weird shit. And during these 6 months, they were the hardest 6 months of my entire life. It was that when all the signs started pointing to, if you don't get out, you're not going to make it. Me and my best friend beefed it. One of my workers up north got caught. One of my workers in my town got caught. Somebody overdosed. Things were getting really heavy and really like, oh man, my friends are starting to die around me. I overdosed. Like, things were hectic. I'm talking a chaos level where alarm bells are ringing all over the control center. It's like, buddy, get your shit together. You're not going to get out. And I thought, all right, loud and clear. I felt like I was being followed. I felt like I was under investigation. I had a lawyer on retainer, and that's when I started making changes. I was like, I'm going to book a flight and get out of here. I had a girlfriend at the time, Leah, she's a sweetheart. She decided she was getting ready to make the move with me. She's like, all right, she just dropped everything she had. And I'm like, we're selling everything. We're ghosting. We're getting out. And I told a few of the guys in my network, hey, I'm out. I'm going to get out. And I expected to meet a lot of resistance, but I just said, hey, I don't want anything out of this. You can just take my network. You can take my connections. You don't have to pay me. I just want to get out. And they're like, dope. See you later. Sweet. Good stuff.
Thanks, bro.
Yeah. Right. I did them a solid. So they're like, dope. Like, great. Sounds good. Everyone's like, have a great trip. Let me know if you need anything. So everyone's super happy. Right. And all right, great. I'm out. I started selling all my things. And as I was doing that, more people started getting caught around me. And I was like, okay. I put a lawyer on retainer. I'm scared. It comes to the week of, and I'm like, really, things are building up. I thought maybe I should put my flight date sooner to get out sooner. My lawyer said, don't, you look suspicious. If you get out quicker, you might get pounced on. Just be normal. Don't act weird. And I'm like, I'm high all the time. I'm doing weird shit every day. All right, sure. So it's the day of leaving, and I got people coming to my mom's house, paying me cash they owe me. I'm counting it through a money counter, giving it to my mom, and just being crazy, doing the last of my drugs. I'm still a drug addict at this time. Like, I had relapsed as soon as I got back to Vancouver, as I got back into the game to try to get myself out. And one of my best friends at the time, who had a weed dispensary, comes and he gives me a bottle of THC oil. And he's like, here's for your flight, bro. And I'm like, thanks, like such a nice gift, right? Like, that's awesome of you. We're packing now. We're going to get into the car. We're going to go to the airport. I'm going to start my life over. Before I leave, I realized there was a bit of drugs to do left. And I'm like, I'm not going to leave this here. And I had enough pills to get me so I wouldn't be sick on the plane to come here and get clean. So I had drugs on me. I also had a fake set of identification that I used to use if I was going to, like, say, rent an apartment or something to that effect. But maybe it'll come in handy later. I'm not going to throw these away. They're like cool gifts, cool keepsakes. So I had illegal things on my person, but stashed throughout my baggage, right? I bleached all my stuff, all my credit cards, of course, all my passport, everything's bleached. On the way to the airport, I take out that THC bottle and I go, like, if I take it now, by the time I get through security, it'll kick in then, take about 45 to an hour, and then I'll just be chilling, waiting to get on the flight to start my life over, and I'll be stoned, maybe I'll eat something, I'll just chill, it'll be good times all around, sweet. So I take a few drops. But it was dark. I'm in the back of my parents' car. They're not looking. And I take maybe a few too many. I get to the airport, And we go to check in to get our tickets, and they go, do you have a flight out of Indonesia? Because there's tourist visa, things. You need to have a flight out. And I was like, no. Oh, okay. Quickly buy a flight to get to Singapore and out. And that took up quite a chunk of time. Meanwhile, THC is entering my bloodstream. as I get to the first security check, they pull me aside and they like swab everything I have, and I'm starting to get high. I'm like, I'm like in my head, I'm like, I bleached everything, cunts. And I get through okay. I'm like, yay! Like I'm in the airport now. I'm now in the area before you get to your flight. I'm like, everything's sweet. I am starting my life over. I'm gonna make it. I'm super baked. And I go buy Despicable Me headphones for no reason at all. My girlfriend's mad at me, like, why would you buy these stupid headphones? I'm like, they're fun. I'm super stoned. Time comes to boarding. We had an hour to wait. Time comes for boarding. I get to the big lineup to get to the queue to get your ticket ripped. Tickets ripped. That hallway to get onto that plane, that long, suspended hallway thing. We turn a corner. I get into the hallway, and I'm met by 5 border security agents and a dog. And they go, you come here. And I'm like, I'm so high right now. Oh no. Oh God. And I'm floored. I didn't look cool at all. Like I was wearing, again, a Louis Vuitton t-shirt. I had a man purse. I had a hot girlfriend. I had diamond earrings and lots of tattoos. I just looked suspicious. And he goes, where are you going? And I'm like, he might as well have spoken in Chinese. I'm like, Bali? He goes, how long are you going for? And meanwhile, as he's asking me this, there's a cop behind me with the dog poking me where he's making the dog sniff. So I'm trying to focus answering questions, and there's this dog like all up in me, and I have stuff on me, and I'm not sure if the dog will smell it or not, and I'm freaking out, man. I'm like, oh God, like fuck no. And he's like, where are you up to? And I'm like, Bali. He's like, what are you going for? I'm like, yoga and stuff. He's like, how long are you going for? I'm like, well, I don't know, just like a few months. I'm not sure yet, And he's like, you don't know how long you're going for? And I'm going for good. Like I'm out, but I didn't know if that was a bad answer or not. I'm really not out operating efficiently at this point. I'm not doing good. He goes, you running away from something? And I was like, fuck. He knows. Shit. This is for me. Like that's it. This is it. Yeah, they're gonna stop me. I'm not gonna make it. He goes, okay, you're acting suspicious. Let's go to secondary questioning. And it just hits me. Fuck. We're starting to walk away from the plane now. We're off that little runway. We're going back into the terminal. And my heart sinks into my stomach. I'm like, you're fucked. You're not gonna make it. You were so fucking close. You're about to start your life over. You're done. You're fucking done. And they couldn't let you leave. You got to answer to this. You're going to go to jail right now. You're going to go through withdrawals in jail, cold turkey. You're done. And it just I felt that whole weight of it over me as we're walking away from the plane. He takes me aside, and that punk little gangster kid in me comes out and goes, look, bro, if this is just for me, let's get this over with. Fuck. And he's like, why would you say that? This is a routine check. And I was like, oh, fuck. My girlfriend's like, shut the fuck up. And I'm like, oh, God. And, oh, man. So he starts questioning me more. He goes, so if I was to look into your bags, what would I find? And I go, clothes? I'm fucking bombing here. He's like, how much cash do you have on you? Let me see it. And he's like looking into my bags. I'm starting to like, oh, man. Like, if he starts taking apart some of the other bags, he's gonna find some pills. Oh, man. I'm freaking out right now, right? So he goes, okay, should we take a look into your bags and take them off the plane? I'm like, oh, fuck, this is it. I'm done. Just then, he had stopped another Vietnamese guy. Like he looked like a Vietnamese uncle gangster. Somebody I would have worked with for sure. He just looked like that type. So then just then, the Vietnamese gangster freaks out. He goes, fuck you! You're taking my liberty! And he screams it. We're in an airport terminal full of people. There's hundreds of people all around us. Just then, everyone turns and looks at us. The entire airport is watching me, my girlfriend, 2 border security agents, 3 border security agents, and a dog barking at this Vietnamese guy freaking out. The cops go, are you threatening us? He goes, fuck fuck you! And screams at them. The dog's about to bark. The dog's about to pounce at them. The 3 cops jump on him, pin him to the ground. He's resisting arrest. He's freaking out. And it's a huge scene. Everyone on the airport is just like, yo, what the fuck? The cop that has me is looking at them, looking at me, looking at them. And I'm like, hey man, like don't taser him, he'll die. Because the Vancouver airport security, they tasered somebody before and he passed away. Mm-hmm. This happened not too long ago. So I was like, kind of thing. And he goes, we don't have tasers anymore. I'm like, okay, look, can you guys just handle that and let us go? Like, I'm just trying to go to Bali, man. And he looks at me. He looks me up and down. He looks at the guy on the ground, resisting arrest. Like, it's a fucking scene. This guy's going crazy. He looks at us again. He goes, all right, go. And I was like, oh my God. We get back onto the long runway to the airport, to the airplane. I look at Leah. She looks at me. She's like, shut the fuck up. Like, fuck. She is like up to here. She's just, that was traumatizing for her. I am traumatized. I couldn't just believe what happened. Like I couldn't believe, and I still couldn't actually believe what just happened. The entire plane is boarded and waiting for us. This is a long flight, Vancouver to Taipei. There's 300 people or something on the first level of the flight, and we're in 84H. We're at the very end in the middle. All the air support staff, the stewardesses are all waiting at the door, hearing everything that's been happening, watching us two walk down this, looking at us like, what the fuck just happened to you two? And we're like, you can get on the plane. We're like, yeah, 84H at the end. I'm like, oh God, I'm going to walk by every single person's looking at us walking in like, what the fuck are you doing, scumbag? It's just like, oh God, oh God, oh God. I get to the very back. I get to 84H. There's a little Chinese lady in between me and my 2 seats. I have to, excuse me, do you mind getting out? Do you mind getting out for us? She gets up. She's looking at us. We sit down. We get into the seats. Close the belt. She looks at me. What happened? I'm like, don't you fucking talk to me right now, lady. Like, I can't with you right now. Like, no. People are getting up and looking at us from their chairs like it's a scene. Leah's mortified. She's so angry at me, and I'm just like, oh my God. The plane starts moving. Like, let's go. Let's get out of the fucking airport, please. Let's get off the ground, please. Flight takes off. We're in the air. We're in the air. Oh my God. And I feel this huge weight lift off of me. I couldn't believe it. Like I'm in the air now. I'm no longer in Vancouver. Oh my God. Oh fuck. Oh my God. A couple minutes go by, and the seatbelt, you can go like dart up and go to the bathroom. I sit on the toilet, and I'll never forget this moment that I was sitting there and I started laughing and crying at the same time, almost manically, almost hysterically, sobbing, but laughing. Like you just went through one of the most emotional, heart-wrenching experiences of your entire life. And it was no accident. That was divine intervention. That was God coming down. That was your guardian angels. That was something saying, how bad do you want it, motherfucker? You want to start over? All right. Here's a little taste of just how close you almost didn't fucking make it. So you better do good. And I made an agreement right then and there. And I was okay. I promise I'm going to make the best of this. I almost didn't make it out. I'm going to do some real good. I sat there, tears rolling down my eyes, grateful to God, grateful to whatever intervened and saved me from a jail cell and cold turkey withdrawals. And then I took the drugs out of my little pocket and did a rail. I was a drug addict.
I mean, come on.
Yeah. Celebration.
Oh, I fucking love that. I love that. You tell that so well, my brother. Absolutely love it. That'd be a lesson to you guys. There is a way out. Yep. There absolutely is. You don't have to do a line at the end of it. It's not absolutely crucial.
Nope.
No.
It's probably better you don't.
That's beautiful, man. I think that's an amazing point to end on. And please tell people one last time where they can find you, because people need to follow that journey, man.
Thank you, guys. Yeah, hit me up on Instagram. Ink Pray Love on Instagram. My channel Full Reset is under YogiLab on the YogiLab YouTube. You can watch all the videos for Full Reset. I'm giving tips about how I changed my life and how you can start over yours, things that really worked for me. I'm giving real stories from my life to help people get some real change, do something different, make something out of yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much for that, brother. It was a pleasure.
Thank you, sir.
This is the Platinum Podcast.